Welcome back to Warhammer Rogue Trader. Last time we talked to the people on our ship and explored it a little bit after Footfall, and now we are finally opened up the bigger part of the Coronix Expanse, and now we're exploring it. But we did a jump, and now we have a cult in our ship, I guess, that worships fire and does it. Does it near the fuel lines, which is scary, and they're trying to get my opinion on it. Lord Captain, as choirmaster of the Astropathic Choir, I must be watchful of any threats to ship's safety originating from the Imperium. I have heard rumors about this oracle, and so I have spent many of my adepts to see him. They assert that this man is a psyker. This man who speaks to the warp is a danger to himself and to the entire vessel. Both law and common sense dictate that he should be thrown into a holding cell, tranquilized, and handed over to the Inquisition to be sent to Holy Terra. Alternatively, you may also dispose of him in some other way. I know how to handle it. We stand ready to carry out. I don't know about these. There's not a choice I want. I want this one, but I also want them to go away from the pipes so they don't blow us all up, but... the Oracle's visions may prove useful to us. We will not let the law stand in our way. Do keep an eye on him, Weiss. This is a dangerous decision, but I will obey the Lord Captain. I will do my utmost to ensure that this cursed soul does not cause a manifestation of the warp. Emperor, save us. I wanted to be like we could use him, but also move him away, but I guess we can't do that. Alrighty. Now we can see if we jumped over, I guess. I don't know if that'll happen every time we jump, or like we have a random event. Lord Captain, Ravor on the line. The astropaths are going crazy in their little chamber. They are reporting severe warp disturbances along our intended route. It looks like the maw is completely impassable. I've seen this before, yes, and if you ask me, going in there is not a good idea for us or any other void ship. So you're saying that not only will I break through the maw to the Imperium, but I'll cover myself in glory as a conqueror. Forward. Well, sure. Forward! I'll see to it. Emperor protects. By the grace of the Emperor, I have been charged with chronicling the voyage that my blessed commander intends to undertake through that turbid tract of the warp known as the Maw. The thought of what lies ahead fills our souls with terror, but we all have faith in the light of the Emperor. May his protection be with us now. Charted course for expedition. Report from Navigator's Sanctum. Lord Captain, we have locked onto a blessed light of the Astronomicon and are ready to make our first warp jump to the Hermitage. Once in the void ship's station orbit, we will carry out maintenance liturgies and with luck exchange information with other trade void ships there that are using that region as a rendezvous point. The second warp jump will be made to the witch-cursed world, a foul and lifeless planet, at which point we will assess the state of the vessel. A third warp jump is planned to the Port Wander, where, the Protector willing, we will reach the vast expanse of the Imperium, and we will abide there in safety. Message from the Astropathic Choir. Lord Captain, we once again draw your attention to the fact that the warp region of the Maw is more turbulent than usual. The Diviner's vigil portends death for us. and much worse besides. This is not our first decade perceiving the void, and we have seen terrible storms, but none like this. We beseech you, please have mercy on us. If that be not your will, we stand ready to serve until the end. After offering up the requisite prayers, the crew received a vox address from the Blessed Lord Captain, in which the commander, "We got this," gave the order. We made it to the Hermitage, an outcome made possible solely by the Emperor's mercy. The ship has been chewed up by the ravenous immaterium, and madness has taken root across our decks and stalks among us, staring us in the eyes. The vessel is in orbit around the station, thronged by thousands of silent satellites, the jettisoned bodies of the dead. I passed a Medicaid test. I spent the entire jump in the murky depths of the astropathic fire bay where acolytes of the ship's surgeon walked by. Incident report. I saw the PIC recordings made on various decks with my own eyes. With horror and avid curiosity, I relished each bloody detail, drinking in the stream of chaotic, incomprehensible scenes. Nameless dread blossomed in my soul. I saw a bloody massacre in the enginarium, people armed with tools bashing each other's heads in. I saw a deck full of violently convulsing bodies covered in a layer of mold and sprouting grotesque fungi. I witnessed a crowd of crew members walk towards an opening airlock with madness, exultant smiles on their face, and be caught a moment later on a wave of air and wrenched out into the cold embrace of nothingness. With my own eyes, I saw a gunner steadily hitting a large caliber shell with his wrench, and inside a cogitator I could just make out the bloody remains of an engine sear, and possibly squeezed in among the tangled wires. So much horror, so little hope. Engine sear's report. Report from the engine sear deck. My lord agrees me to report the demise of 27.61% of the blessed machine spirits entrusted to my care. Reactors 2 and 3 required expedited burials, and the deck's crew held a vigil in their memory. The servitors have logged at least 11 breaches in the whole exterior, and at least 3 in the whole interior. With my Lord's gracious permission, I will endeavor to save what can still be saved. The Omnissiah knows all, comprehends all. Hermitage Station Situation Report. Scouting Expedition Report. I don't know how they haven't gone crazy yet, sitting in the middle of the warp storm. There are around 1,000 people there, a few hundred outcasts and anchorites living permanently on the station, and the crew of a trading vessel that barely made it as far as the Hermitage, and won't be departing ever again. It seems they spend whole days sitting under their crystal dome praying, eating ration packs, and watching as reality loses its mind. They say the Emperor will protect them against the coming tempest. Of course they do. He is the only thing they can trust in now. For them, there's nowhere else to turn. We offered them passage on our ship. Not one said yes. Mad, all of them. When the message came through the Voxnet, I struggled to hear it over the whispering of the angel in my ears. My honorable lord gave the order to make the jump. We are at the witch-cursed world, the place where we are doomed to perish. This is what the Emperor's angel told me, his voice almost impossible to bear. It bade me record every drop of sorrow. My chronicle will spread his word through the warp and sow terror in all who come to know our dire voyage. So speaks the angel, and my own thoughts are so muddled that all I can do is submit and bear witness. As soon as the crew exited the warp, thousands of crew members assembled into teams, launched into repairing the major areas of damage. The will of our fearless Lord Captain drove them, and in the moment I deeply envied their resolve. The Lord Captain's honorable companion, von Kalux, personally led the ship's hands to the most seriously damaged decks. First he admonished the cowardly crew members who refused to do their duty, and then he banished the fear from their hearts with a single shot. Verily, the man's mercy is great indeed. I left the astropathic choir bay and spent this jump in the navigator's sanctum. I do not describe the horrors I witnessed there, or how my heart grieves for every one of the dozens who perished on this journey. The warp was merciless towards us, and only luck allowed us to escape the bloody harvest it reaped there. Furthermore, when the malevolent tentacles of the warp reached into our souls and a bloody inscription and an unholy language began to appear on the bulkhead, the Emperor granted me the blessing of bearing witness to a miracle. Sister Argenta, entirely undaunted, marched up to the bulkhead and erased the words with a fearless swipe of her hand. She turned to us with a smile and said, "It is only blood. Do not fear the Immaterium, for its nightmares are nothing before the Emperor's light." In that moment, I had faith that all was not yet lost. Today, I believe I was mistaken. The losses and damage are enormous. They say there was a mutiny. The master helmsman reports that the odds of surviving another jump forward are 0. The odds of a successful jump backward are also 0, but the second 0 is slightly less definitive. Internal systems are failing. Cogitators are experiencing periodic failures. Stop, I'm afraid. Failure. Witch Curse World Report. Engineer Avlier's report from Augur Station 12. We must not make planetfall. I know what I saw and know. We must not set down on that planet. It is not because the wind could tear the hull off the landing shuttle in the blink of an eye, or because the temperature on the surface fluctuates between red-hot plasma and absolute 0. No, it's because planets do not have faces, but this one did. A vast face of jagged plateaus, eyes of fiery tornadoes, and a mouth made of a crater half a continent across. And I saw that face smiling at me. It saw me. It all saw us. We must not make planetfall. Emperor, have mercy on us. Addendum. Engineer Avlier was executed 4 hours after submitting this report for fermenting panic among the crew. Incident report. The picked chronicle recorded by the eyes of the servo skulls made my heart stutter. In horror I watched as a crewman who seemed perfectly healthy struggled against the shackles pinning him to an operating table, and a group of doctors whispering excitedly among themselves drew out their steel surgical instruments and eagerly began cutting his flesh. I cried out as I watched the engineers burning holy incense and chanting the prayer to awaken the plasma generator's machine spirit. A young acolyte, his heart wavering, accidentally disrupted the liturgy, releasing the motive force into the power circuit before it was time, and my poor eyes were blinded by the white light of the explosion. After that, I was silent, for that was the only way I could continue to watch. Technomats and dirty coveralls reverently poured chalices of blood onto the base of a macabre tree. A weapon pointed upward, its supports outspread like branches, and hanging from them like ripe fruit were the bodies of the bay's officers. After tossing aside his discharged lasgun, a priest brought his fingers to his bleeding ears, then daubed these crimson words on the bulkhead. Don't listen to him. He is no angel. Who was he talking to? Me? Scarlet roses, their buds bleeding, were growing through the bulkheads, which were covered with patches of rot. Crew members in black uniforms incinerated them with flamethrowers, weeping black tears and roaring with maniacal laughter. A string of people silently entered an airlock, above which was written Hangar C-11-2, and were lost to the darkness. As the deputy Carto Artifacts, I know the ship's layout well. There has never been a Hangar C-11-2. The unknown has touched our vessel, has taken root in it, and now we are all in the clutches of the Immaterium. Navigational forecast. Report from the Navigator's Sanctum. Lord Captain, we report that, to our disgrace, we failed to safeguard the crew of the Navigator's Sanctum. During the warp jump, virtually the entire crew was afflicted with monstrous deformations, which we cannot bring ourselves to recount. The senior officers began the last watch. We were here alone. We gave all the junior crew the mercy of death. We sealed the airlocks as the echoes of our pain were great enough to drive the uninitiated to madness. Lead us where you will, onward to Port Wander or back. We will serve and steer the ship as long as we can. Report to the Confessor. Master report. The rousing speech from the Lord Captain, which was broadcast over the Vox system, inspired the crew, who promptly broke into teams to repair the primary systems. The volunteers all departed, were later lauded in prayer. Over the static and the howling of the unholy warp spirits that had infiltrated our Vox system, we heard the voice of our Lord Captain, who ordered us to make the jump. The senior officers from all decks gave a general report to my blessed Lord Captain. According to the assessments of all the ship's services, the chances of a favorable outcome of a jump to Port Wander were 0. On behalf of the entire crew, they declared that serving under our glorious commander had been an honor, and if it was his will, they were ready to forge onward and meet their deaths. We were all prepared to die that very hour, and then the Lord Captain bade us praise the Emperor, for we're going home. Lord Captain, a warp jump to the Hermitage cannot be calculated. We cannot detect its shadow within the sacred radiance of the Astronomicon. The warp storms are obstructing everything. We think our only chance is to make a longer jump to Footfall. Our chances of survival are low, but not non-existent. Okay. The warp jump is complete. We are still ourselves, and we are still alive, although only a tenth of those who set on the expedition remains. A tenth? Ooh, that's... but we have seen everything, and now nothing can dent the crew's spirits. I cannot say the same for my own. The left side was engulfed in a terrible fire, threatening to undermine the main caliber arsenal chambers. Holding tighter to their faith, the crew members responded as one to the harsh voice of our illustrious Lord Captain and rushed to save what remained of the vessel. The angel no longer speaks to me, and a strange emptiness has settled within my soul. Carrying this deficiency inside me is unbearable. Here ends my chronicle, and my duty has been fulfilled. I will append a report about the sorry state of the ship after I go to the engine seers to request voluntary servitization. Oh my god. He wants to be made into a... Okay. Ship status. The warp is a sly and insidious beast, Lord Captain. We are ready to acknowledge that now. It was pleased that we admitted our defeat. That is why it let us come back. And we believe there can be only one reason for that. And even worse fate awaits us here. Master Steward's report. Crew losses 87% due to the death of the acting trans mechanic on the engine seer deck. I'm reporting that the damage to the ship is widespread and all-encompassing. We are running diagnostics now. Thanks to ship's confessor reading extracts from the code of punishment over the Vox system, the emergency repairs were completed much sooner and the ship's critical nodes saved. Crew morale. We are voidsmen, sir. We know we will die long before we ever get the chance to soil ourselves in our sickbed. We know our trade. We conquer the void, discover stars, ship freight, and plunder forgotten planets. And we die. We die in ways so horrible that most people can't even imagine such a death. Well, we've gone to a place others fear to even think about, and we've come back from there along with our Lord Captain. Next time the warp tries to play its games, we'll tell it. What else do you have to throw at us? Reactorum incident. I will be willing to swear that Generator 6's power conduit unit was switched off when we began the warp jump. There were cracks in the casing, the enclosure was damaged. We would never start up that piece of junk. It would have blown in seconds, and I have no idea how it switched itself on. No one from the crew touched it. When the last generator failed, the energy supply should have been cut off, but number 6 continued to run. It dragged us along for 18 minutes, even though it should have exploded after 18 milliseconds. I don't know how that happened. The Emperor protects. As I am now fated to be your shadow, we must perform a ritual that will seal our bond, for it pleases the undying Lord. Let us speak on the bridge, and I'll take you to an appropriate place for the ritual. What? What is the ritual? Come and you'll see. I do not wish to speak of the mysteries of the blood-spun web over the Vox. This knowledge is not meant for the ears of the uninitiated. Okay. I wish to inform you that the sacred rituals addressed to the spirit of the ship have been performed. The tech liturgy and the rite of the machine blessing ended with a data meditation in order to comprehend the nature of the miracle sent down by the Omnissiah. Acquisition of sacred knowledge has not been recorded. How the spirit of the void ship was able to call upon the power of the machine god and activate the warp drive remains an unknown. Yet, during my meditative ritual, the Omnissiah gave me an equally valuable revelation. The sacred spirit that lives in the bowels of the ship's mechanisms differs from other analogous forms. This spirit holds a unique power that cannot be called anything less than a blessing from the machine god. So what does that mean? Hypothesis. In extremis, the ship's spirit is capable of making unpredictable calculations and actions. It is impossible to predict how it will behave in any given situation, but I believe the spirit is currently showing obedience, at least for now. I recommend that we continue monitoring the ship and be prepared for new manifestations. Remind me what you wanted to find out? When the ship's warp engine was filled with the motive force despite the massive computational errors, a true technological miracle was achieved. No doubt it was a grace of the Omnissiah, but no such occurrences have been described in the catalog before. Hoping to gain sacred knowledge of the nature of what happened, I embarked on blessed research and prayer. Thank you. Omnissiah knows all and comprehends all. Lord Captain, Ravar on the line. The astropaths are going crazy in their little chamber. They're reporting severe... it's the same thing again. Yeah, we're not going there. That was not fun. So we're gonna go to Sato's tomb, I guess. Permission to report, Lord Captain. I keep receiving messages about strange behaviors in certain ship systems. All decks report the uncontrollable opening and closing of doors, gates, and airlocks. They behave erratically and do not obey the operator's commands. Regrettably, this had led to casualties among the crew. The tech priests have explained that these phenomena are being caused by the machine spirit's irascibility and have spent hours chanting litanies to soothe their anger. Unfortunately, many crew members were badly injured before the prayers could stabilize the system. There you go. Within is a rumor. Okay. We got space dust, pirates, and a Hulk. I know, what are they called? Space Wing Umber Hulks? The big ships, those are pretty cool. Basically like giant ships that are probably the size of planets. And yeah, I know it basically because one game was all about you fighting the Tyranids as a space marine.
The foes of the rogue trader.
Yeah, you can try. Even wounded from that adventure, I will still beat y'all. Can I shoot any right now? Weapon and post.
This one's going down. Onward. Leave their hull strewn across the stars. Macro cannons, volley! Fire right now! The time has come. Leave their hull strewn across the stars!
That worked.
Set the course.
Uh-oh.
Bleed them. Another salvo.
Don't run.
This one's going down.
Our technological superiority was obvious.
Let's go. I do like that ship combat. That is actually kind of cool. So I'll go to this space dust. I'll basically just make a circle going counterclockwise. Got 3 fuel things, okay. Go to the Hulk. Nice. This monocle grants the wearer plus 15 commerce. An ice world. What's that? Sato's tomb and plasteel. Start making plasteel. What's plasteel used for? Buildings, machines, armor, and weapons. I mean, okay. Imperium cartographers and chroniclers know this place well. Long ago, the planet was a prosperous outpost capable of eclipsing even footfall. There used to be a Cyclopean tomb station on its orbit, the final resting place of Cornelius Sato, one of the discoverers of the Coronis expanse. The tomb gave its name to the entire system. However, about 400 years ago, an unknown cosmic body rammed into the station, causing it to collapse onto the planet. Not only did the catastrophe kill the settlers, it also made the world uninhabitable for centuries. The crater formed by the station's impact can still be observed from orbit. Sato's tomb became a sepulchre for the entire planet. The sordid place has neither life nor loot, but knowing that the nasty tricks that life can pull is a treasure in its own right. Yes, I can't. Okay. Good to know. I guess I come back in the next business day for that. And we're going out. Honestly, if it 1 second. If it takes time to what's it called? If it takes time to get initiated or do this ritual or whatever, maybe it can make that timer tick down for the plasteel. I don't know. Let's see. You're over here.
Domin.
I'm ready for the binding ritual.
Then follow.
Binding? I don't know if I like binding ritual. Unless it gives me stat boosts and stuff, I don't know if I want this or not. We'll see. Maybe it makes it so she's loyal to me. I don't know.
Are you ready to step into the labyrinth, Domin?
What exactly are we going to do?
This is the ritual of binding. By the Undying One's will, our fates and ours one. But I must still guide you into the maze of my mind. Although it is my predestination alone to walk its corridors in search of answers, your image must become part of the tangle. For I am your shadow, Domin, and your presence will aid me in sensing whatever threats may be looming over you.
What's all this on the floor?
Instructions, directions, a depiction of the puzzle that can only be solved within one's own consciousness by following its bends and turnings. I do not require these lines to find my way.
Okay.
But for you, they will serve as a guiding thread.
Alright, let's begin.
Your weapon for the ritual. Watch the lines on the floor. You can only pass through the gaps. The rest, you need not know. Enter the labyrinth, Domin.
Okay. I thought I could only go in the gaps. Whatever.
You are now upon the path. Your shadow now walks the labyrinth, and my gaze can now see when danger draws near you.
Can you tell me what this really was? What is the true meaning of this rite?
You are not required to understand. You have joined the ritual. That will suffice.
I did not mean to offend you.
Your words have caused no offense.
I only seek to understand why this matters to you, to understand you.
Understand me? Why, Domin? My fate is preordained, and our places assigned. We both must serve the Undying One, as his design foretells. But if such is indeed your wish, my path of service to the Undying Emperor is one of many twists and pitfalls. Every mind is fraught with weakness, and only by honing it tirelessly can one achieve focus and prime one's perception. I envision the tenets of the web as a maze of tangles and dead ends. Each time I go into a trance, be it one of the soul or of battle, I walk this path from beginning to end. And now that you're a part of it, you will be there with me when next I enter the labyrinth. You may deem it strange. You live in a world so far removed from my own that such rituals must seem absurd to you. I'm sure I would find your rituals equally mystifying.
My rituals? What do you mean?
You are empowered by the will of the Undying One himself. And yet, when I look at your life, I am surprised. You follow a different thread. One that does not seem as strict to your thoughts and deeds. There is so much luster.
Would you like to see my world? You have allowed me to witness your ritual. It's only fair I show you one of mine. I don't know what
To
rituals I have.
partake in one of your ceremonies? Returning the courtesy. That is how you say it up here, isn't it? I will await your invitation. The labyrinth has accepted you. We have danced amid the crossing lines and minds. And by the dance, we are now bound.
Okay. Come on, give me a thingy. Okay, I guess I gotta talk to you after all that. Show her what life is like on the upper decks, so to speak. Your lordship is most courteous, but what exactly did you have in mind? How about a social event? Yes, quite. What a magnificent idea. I'll see what I can arrange. And do not worry for a single moment. I promise to find the most suitable approach. I'll contact you the moment I have something to offer. I hope it's not like a romance thing. I'm just doing it because I want to make her feel like she doesn't have to be the lady in the shadows and away from everyone else. I bet that hasn't even done anything yet. Does it give me a date or anything? +5 because it's the ice world. One person on here. Coffee value. I don't know if it'll tell me or I'll get a notification or what, but I guess we'll see. It takes a while for some reason. There you go. There's a lot of steps for some reason. Should I go there? I guess. Okay. Lord Captain, I hasten to report the disturbing news brought to me by the machine spirits of the ship. The matter is extremely delicate and concerns Lady Cassia. You see, since her first day aboard, her presence has been a disturbance to the crew's way of life. If you'll allow it, I have prepared a detailed report. Deliver your report. The first incidents occurred immediately after the departure from Uric 5. The Lady Navigator chastised one of the ship's runners, after which he went into his living quarters, killed his family, and then shot himself. The second incident was noted while traversing the warp. The Lady Navigator gave the pilots the wrong instructions, and the void ship was thrown off course for a matter of minutes, but this was enough for the forces of the Immaterium to anger the machine spirits enough for them to start a fire in the service bay. After that, officers living near the Lady Navigator's quarters began to express extreme emotions: hysteria, apathy, euphoria, rage. This is quite detrimental to crew morale and performance. The last incident was recorded on Footfall. Around 100 living birds were delivered on board during our stay on Footfall. Each bird cost a hefty sum, but I have failed to discover their purpose and subsequent fate. I was also told about a conflict between the Lady Navigator and the Seneschal. Alas, with no details. If you like, you can ask Master Wazarian directly. Things are even worse with J. Haydari. I intercept a Voxcast in which she promised she would, and I quote, end that Kashka if she ever saw her again. If I may, Lord Captain, the Lady Navigator's state of mind worries me. She is self-contained and does not mesh with the crew at all. Which is why everyone avoids her. Even senior officers can be superstitious. I fear that only you are in a position to talk to her on an equal footing and improve the situation, for the sake of the crew's safety and that of Lady Cassia herself. Lord Captain, I have done as you commanded. Everything has been prepared for your ritual for Mistress Cabela. A select few upper deck officers are ready to leave their posts and attend this formal gathering and praise your lordship's name. We can begin at your convenience. I doubt that Cabela will enjoy this. I'm confident that she will appreciate the effort, both yours and mine. What could be more representative of the Lord Captain's inner circle than a formal event in the company of the most eminent members of the crew? Okay, sure. It'll be done. I shall signal the servants and notify the invited parties immediately. Let us demonstrate to Mistress Cabela just how strong our vessel's spirit of camaraderie truly is. The warp jump went surprisingly smoothly. None of the deck officers on duty reported any incidents. However, a strange discovery awaited the Lord Captain when he returned to his quarters. The bed was unmade, and the impression of a head was still visible on the pillow. There was no signs of an intrusion. The guard swore under oath that nobody had entered the quarters. The Immaterium released us from its grip this time. Okay, back to the bridge, I guess, first. Okay, we gotta talk to Cassia.
Words cannot describe how boring the bridge is without our stimulating conversations.
I heard rumors that you're not getting along well with the crew.
Not here. I'm begging you. Aren't noblemen supposed to discuss such things away from the servants?
Let's go to the study then.
Then lead the way, and I will answer all of your questions.
Okay. What is it you wanted to talk about? I have nothing to say to your unfounded accusations about my conflicts with the crew. I cannot recall my having a single quarrel with any of your people during the entire time aboard. The messenger you rebuked butchered his own family and then killed himself. I haven't rebuked a single errand boy on the ship. I think I remember a kind young man with a shy smile and skillful fingers with too much rotten ochre on his shoulders. I grew tired of the disgusting color and advised him to lighten his burden by casting the weight off his shoulders. He did not come the next day or ever again. During the voyage, you gave the wrong orders, which led to the vessel shifting off course and the service bay being destroyed. I saw something in the warp, something vast, predatory, shimmering with indescribable colors. It came from nowhere and stared at the ship with hundreds of hungry eyes, right there in our path. I decided to change the course while it was still possible, but did not want to sow panic. Would it have been better to tell the crew we were heading straight for a monster's gaping maw? The officers are reluctant to be quartered next to your chambers because of the constant emotional outbursts it causes them. Some even maim themselves and others. I already told you I cannot control my abilities. What else do you want from me? Will I be assigned a pariah chaperone? Or will you put me in suppressing shackles? Would you mind telling me why you needed 100 species of bird and what you used them for? Admittedly, I am at a loss myself. The day we arrived on Footfall, I sent a request to the ship's quartermaster and asked him to get me a songbird, but he never asked for clarification. And shortly before we left, I had a countless number of cages delivered to me, all wrapped in bright red panic with flickering tints of fear. There was a bird in every one. I was so excited I thought I would have 100 friends instead of just one. They were squeaking so piteously, I let the poor things out. I even fed them my breakfast and dinner, but the stupid birds would not stop chittering even after bedtime. They were dashing about the room, smacking me in the face with their wings, and defecating. I became angry, and suddenly they started pecking at each other's eyes and attacking me. Then I became afraid, and they fell over dead. I do not think I want to keep pets anymore. I think I heard enough. Will you share your thoughts with me? You have a kind soul, but have difficulty reaching out to people. I could teach you the art of communication if you like. That would be wonderful. My education on Yurk 5 was cut short, but I had realized by then that the wisdom of books is a poor substitute for the wisdom of experience. Very well, since we are doing this with since we are done with this misunderstanding, I would like to change the subject. It would only be fair for me to ask you a few questions now, wouldn't it? Do not mistake me, I'm not going to accuse you of anything. It's just that you are the most worthy interlocutor on the entire ship, and you are always so busy. What do you like me to ask? I read a treatise by Pius de Mobius very recently, who claimed that subjects would never believe their new ruler was better than the old one unless the old one had been a tyrant. No matter the circumstances, the low-born rabble become deluded about their prospects and rebel in favor of their base desires. What do you make of that? Your interpretation of this classical text is not entirely correct. If the subjects have grown accustomed to the ruling house, all the sovereign must do is refrain from breaching long-standing traditions, adjust unwanted laws as gradually as you would shift the bed of a flooded river, and no one will ever take your power from you. Indeed, I was not wrong about your merits, or your ability to hold a conversation. I hope my second question does not confound you either. According to the 20 tomes penned by preacher Eustache Istaphan, the Forgotten, mercy and for cruelty go through the world hand in hand, but people flock only to one pan on the scales. Would you rather inspire fear in your followers or be magnanimous and choose awe? One must be a tyrant, a friend, and a jester to one's subjects. What matters is that to clearly discern which role is required at a given moment. There is so much power in your words, power that makes me want to join you. I understand now why your subjects are eager to follow you. I admit I was afraid we were too different, and yet you helped me realize that I can be candid with you. Please do continue. I must confess that sometimes I can hardly bear the burden the house has placed upon me. I feel I am not doing my best. Tell me how you, heir of the Protectorate, can bear the responsibility for billions of lives day after day and not stoop under all the weight. It is not always easy, but I try to lead the dynasty towards prosperity by worthy means. Thank you for your patience. You are helping me see the world in different colors. A novel experience for me. Our conversations hold a special place in my heart. Allow me to bid you farewell for now. I am heading back to my chambers to consider today's conversation. Alright. Hopefully that helps her get safer, because she is nice. She just has to control her powers. Anywho, I think I'm going to leave it here. Next time we're going to open up this new place we got to, and we're going to see what else happens. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys have a nice day.